So in the last video, we created this block. We're in the creating. I wanted to show why it's important to create your columns, create your containers in a particular order so that you can do the most effective and efficient job of creating columns. So we created this container at the top, we created this container at the bottom, we put the complete one column at the top and the bottom, and now we're going to do these containers and these columns in the middle. So if you look again back at this block, we have a single column and a single column down here for the button, and then we have two columns in the middle. So first thing, we're going to go, again, for every container that comes in by itself, I put another container inside of it, and we're going to really see why in this example. So first of all, we're going to create this this first block, and if you look at the block, it has, what does it have in it? It has a section of text, it has an image, and then it has some text beside the image. And you know, typically we would use a column structure to do that, but we're not going to in this case. What we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to go over here and grab some paragraph text. We're going to put it inside this container. And I'm just going to copy the text. Okay, and then we need an image below that. So first of all, notice that this text is inside the container that's inside the container, right? So the larger one is the initial container that came in. So we're going to put an image inside of this container right here. So we're going to go do elements. We're going to grab an image. And again, we're going to try to make sure we get it inside the second container that we brought in. So if we take a look, the image is inside the container that's inside the container. Perfect. So I'm going to go grab and configure that image. I realize that was a round image down there. We'll go ahead and get, excuse me. We'll go ahead and get an image of a person here. Random person update. And so we have the image. Obviously this image is too large. We're going to shrink it. Relative to parent, always relative to parent, and we're going to make it sort of the same size as this one down here. And then what we're going to do is, again, we have, this is in its own text area. This is in its own text area, but in order to get these, we have to actually create another container. And that container is going to go in here between these two. And we're going to take this image, we're going to pop it into that new container, which is actually a container in the container in the container. And the reason we're doing that is because now I'm going to go take a text element, and I'm going to just grab paragraph again. I'm going to put it inside the container with the image. I'm going to go to the image, and I'm going to go layout, horizontal, and now the text is showing over beside the image. So we're just going to say Martha Doe, and we're going to say logo, right? And then we're going to get the 5 stars, which is an image. We're just going to pull that up. That's not an image. Okay. We're just going to leave that where it is. Okay, so here's the thing. It doesn't look great, right? So we're going to format this. So this text is inside this container. We're going to take this container again and look at the layout. And for horizontal, we are going to we are going to left justify everything, but we're going to center them. So we just brought this down to the middle. Again, the key is to do as much with layout as you can, because layout goes to every screen, size and spacing doesn't. Okay, so now we're going to go to the container, the second one that we brought in. This is not the first one, but the second one. And we're going to go ahead and put some spacing, some little padding around that. And we're getting closer to what we see down there, right? The only thing we're missing is on this container, we need a little space above the container to move it down. Okay, and that's pretty close. Now we're going to go to the container. Again, the container that's inside the container. We're going to go put the shadow on it. That's how that was created down there. And we're not that far off, right? Text size and those kinds of things matter. All right, so here is ultimately, oops, I see we need some space here. So we're going to go put a little spacing to the left of that text, like 1.25. We're going to do the same thing here. Now, when you start with a blank slate, like let's say we were going to go over here now and start with a blank slate on this column, we would have to do all of that formatting again. But the reason we put a container inside the container, okay, again, if we go click on this container, that's the one that we added. We're going to duplicate it. Then we're going to grab the container, move it over here into this column. And what we just did is we took all of the formatting and everything with us when we went over to this column. And so here's the thing that helps us now. We have this 2-column, right? Let's go all the way up to the 2-column layout. Okay, so now we have that, which we can duplicate. And when we do that, obviously we have to put a little space above it. If we do that first, we're going to be able to duplicate these much more quickly without having to reformat everything we just changed. Now we're just basically changing the information on our own template. And that is the way you create columns for any number of columns, 3, 5, 4, 2, whatever you're doing. Always put that second container inside the original one, do all of your additions within that container, then duplicate that container and move it over. And the final thing I'll say is the reason for that, I'm gonna go here and show you why that's important. I'm gonna grab this and I'm just gonna move that container out. That's the container that was inside. So this is the base container that came in with that layout. If I have something in there, like I'm just gonna grab a picture, put it in there. Okay, if I have something in there and I want to duplicate this is the original container, and I click duplicate, it duplicates it, but it doesn't let me ever move this container. So that's a key. You can never move a container that is the original container inside of a column, structure, or of a block. Hopefully that's helpful in creating multiple complex kinds of blocks and also learning how to deal with columns.